Science in Sleeping, exploring the sleepy secrets of the Bermuda Triangle asterisk. Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. It's always so good to have you here again. Somewhere across the quiet distance of night, you've found your way back to this safe little corner of the universe, where science and serenity meet, where we explore the unknown not with fear, but with wonder and a gentle, sleepy curiosity. Tonight, we're drifting far out into the ocean, into one of the most mysterious places on Earth, a stretch of water that has captured imaginations for centuries, a triangle drawn not on maps, but in myths, whispered about by sailors, scientists, and storytellers alike. The Bermuda Triangle. But tonight, we won't be chasing disappearances or wild legends. Instead, we'll explore the sleepy secrets beneath its surface, the science of calm within chaos, the balance between movement and stillness, the hidden harmonies of earth, ocean, and sky. This is a place where magnetic fields shimmer, where deep ocean currents pulse like the rhythm of a heartbeat, and where time itself seems to stretch and sigh, almost like a dream. So, as you listen, you don't need to stay awake. You don't have to focus or remember anything. You can let your mind wander, let the story drift in and out like gentle waves, because this space is here for you to rest, to breathe, to simply be. Maybe you're listening from your bed, your room dimly lit, the air soft and still. Or maybe you're curled beneath warm blankets, your phone on the nightstand, headphones resting lightly against your ears. Wherever you are, I'd love to know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. If you'd like, you can take a slow, deep breath in and a long, unhurried breath out. Let your shoulders sink. Feel your body release its quiet tension, and allow gravity to hold you safe, steady, grounded. You are here. You've made it through the day, and now, this is your time to rest your body and feed your mind with gentle wonder, a kind of curiosity that soothes instead of stirs. A science that helps you fall asleep. Tonight, we'll travel in imagination across the Atlantic to that stretch between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. We'll listen to the ocean's slow breathing. We'll learn what science says about the triangle's strange phenomena. And along the way, we'll uncover how those same forces, the magnetic shifts, the patterns of current and wind, exist within us too, guiding our internal rhythms, our heartbeat, our sleep cycles, our dreams. So, if you're ready, let your eyelids grow a little heavier, let your thoughts fade softly into the background, and let the story begin. Now, settle in, get comfortable, and allow yourself to drift into the sleepy secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to drift over an ocean that seems to hum with secrets? Not a stormy sea, not a wild or dangerous one, but a calm, endless stretch of blue that hides more questions than answers, where compasses once spun strangely and time itself seemed to take a slower breath, where the sea and sky blur into one tranquil shade, a place both real and dreamlike. The Bermuda Triangle, so often feared in stories, can also be imagined as a cradle of stillness, a quiet zone in the map of the world, where nature performs its invisible dance, unseen yet endlessly alive. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast night ocean. The water glows faintly, touched by the reflection of distant stars. Each wave that reaches your feet curls softly, leaving cool traces across your skin. The air smells of salt and mystery, but it carries no danger here, only peace. In the distance, faint lightning flickers behind clouds, not in warning, but like the heartbeat of the sea itself. Somewhere below, deep beneath the surface, unseen currents weave through darkness, and above you, satellites pass quietly, tracing invisible lines across the same patch of earth where ancient sailors once trembled. The Bermuda Triangle is not truly a shape on any map. It's a region between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. But what makes it fascinating, and sometimes misunderstood, is the invisible energy it holds. Scientists studying this area have long been drawn not to its myths, but its magnetic and meteorological wonders. This part of the ocean sits at a unique crossroad of natural forces. Ocean currents, trade winds, atmospheric pressure, and even gravitational variations all meet here. It's not a supernatural zone, but rather a magnificent convergence, a pulse in the planet's system. Did you know that the Gulf Stream, one of the most powerful ocean currents in the world, flows through this region? It's a river within the sea, carrying warm water from the Gulf of Mexico into the Atlantic. It can move faster than a human can swim, shaping the weather patterns of entire continents. When storms form nearby, they borrow energy from that stream, twisting wind and heat into spirals of force. Yet on quiet nights, when the air is still, the same waters become a mirror, glassy, calm, infinite. Scientists say that the temperature differences and current speed changes can create mirages on the horizon. Sometimes ships or lights seem to vanish, only to reappear miles away, a trick of refraction, a dance of light and water. There's also magnetism, that quiet, invisible force guiding both compass and creature. In parts of the triangle, magnetic declination is nearly zero. That means the difference between true north and magnetic north disappears. To a compass, the world feels oddly aligned. For birds, fish, and even sea turtles that navigate by magnetic fields, this can cause disorientation, yet nature has adapted. Some species have learned to pause in these zones, to rest before continuing. A pause written into instinct, a natural lullaby between journeys. Researchers from the University of Colorado once used satellite data to map the surface of this region. They discovered methane hydrate fields on the ocean floor, solid ice-like crystals that trap methane gas beneath them when pressure changes. These bubbles rise and burst, releasing plumes of gas that alter buoyancy. It's one explanation for why ships might suddenly lose lift. But imagine it another way, the ocean breathing, exhaling pockets of ancient air from beneath its bed, each bubble a whisper from deep time. The earth sighing softly in its sleep, and then there's sound. The triangle's underwater acoustics are unlike anywhere else. Deep channels in the seafloor carry low frequencies for hundreds of miles. Whales call through them, their voices stretching across the darkness. Some of the sounds recorded here are so deep, so resonant, that they blur the line between nature and music. Scientists call them biophonic currents, vibrations created by living creatures and echoed by the sea. When you listen through hydrophones, it's like hearing the planet's heartbeat. Slow, rhythmic, eternal. All of this, the magnetism, the currents, the sound, comes together to create a kind of equilibrium. A natural space of pause, not danger, in this balance, we find something deeply human, for even our own bodies are oceans of movement. We are more water than anything else. We pulse with magnetic and electrical energy. Our sleep cycles mirror the tides, rising and falling with light and darkness. And perhaps that's why stories of the Bermuda Triangle feel so hauntingly familiar. Because somewhere inside us, we recognize the pattern, that stillness in motion, that calm at the center of mystery. Maybe the triangle isn't a place of vanishing, but of remembering, a reminder that even in uncertainty, there is rhythm. Even in confusion, there is harmony. Even in the depths of mystery, there is peace. The sea is not hiding its secrets. It's simply moving at a slower time, one that we can only sense when we are quiet enough to listen. So, as we float here in imagination over deep water that glows with starlight, let's take another slow breath in and another gentle one out. Let your body rest with the rhythm of the waves. Let the hum of invisible forces become your lullaby. And as we drift forward, we'll explore not just what happens in the ocean, but what happens within us, how the science of sleep, magnetism, and the mind connect in patterns older than history itself. Because the next step in our journey lies deeper still, where the ocean floor meets the currents of consciousness and the story of stillness continues. Have you ever noticed how your breathing changes when you finally begin to drift off to sleep? That slow, rhythmic rise and fall, almost like waves, carrying you between awareness and rest. Have you ever wondered if the ocean does the same thing? If the sea itself might have its own version of sleep, a pattern of motion that ebbs and flows with the quiet persistence of a heartbeat? Perhaps the planet dreams too, and the Bermuda Triangle, that silent, glimmering part of the Atlantic, is where Earth's dreams are felt most strongly. Picture yourself floating just above the surface of that vast ocean. The air cool and damp, touched with salt, clouds drift lazily across the starlit sky, and beneath you, unseen rivers of current move endlessly. You can't see them, but you can sense their rhythm, a deep, gentle pull, as if the ocean is breathing beneath you, exhaling warmth, inhaling silence. Somewhere far below, hidden in the abyssal plains, giant streams of water, warmer than the darkness around them, flow like arteries through the sea. And you, suspended here in this endless cradle, are listening to the slow circulation of the planet's heart. Scientists call them thermaline currents. They are the global veins of the ocean, driven by temperature, thermo, and salt halon. Warm water moves along the surface. Cold, dense water sinks to the deep. Together, they form the great conveyor belt of life, a continuous loop that connects every ocean on Earth. This movement balances heat, regulates climate, and nourishes ecosystems thousands of miles apart. It's easy to forget that every drop of seawater is part of this ancient motion. It may spend centuries traveling the globe before returning home, just as our own breath completes cycles without us ever needing to think about it. And yet, this motion is not constant. It changes, slows, and speeds up, just like our sleep cycles. Researchers at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution have found that these deep currents pulse in patterns. Some move in 8-tower rhythms, some in daily tides, others shift in cycles that last decades. The ocean, in its own way, keeps time, just as our bodies do, through temperature, light, and chemistry when we drift to sleep. our core temperature drops slightly, our heart rate slows. Brain waves begin to synchronize into a slower, steadier pattern. Scientists call these slow waves deep oscillations that help the brain recover and store memories. And within the deep ocean, similar waves exist not in neurons, but in water. They are called internal waves, massive, silent movements where layers of water slide across one another, invisible from the surface, but vast enough to shape weather and influence the life of entire ecosystems. It's a strange thought that the same wave patterns we find inside the human brain, we can also find in the sleeping ocean. Did you know that even marine life follows these same sleep-like rhythms? The humble zooplankton, microscopic yet ancient, rises to the surface at night and sinks during the day every night. Billions of them ascend in what scientists call the diel vertical migration, the largest synchronized movement of life on Earth. It's often called the planet's heartbeat, a slow, pulsing migration that no human eye can see. Every night when you lie down to rest, that same rhythm plays out in the deep, creatures rising and falling with the unseen pulse of time. In the Bermuda Triangle, where the Gulf Stream surges with warmth and deep currents twist and coil, these migrations are particularly dense. The combination of nutrient-rich upwellings and warm layers of surface water makes this area alive in every sense. Each organism moving in tune with forces it cannot see, just as we move in tune with our own circadian cycles. Without ever fully noticing, the more we study these patterns, the more we realize that the boundary between living rhythm and natural motion is blurry. Our heartbeat, our breath, the waves, the wind, all follow curves, loops, and cycles that repeat but never quite the same way twice. Some scientists even describe the brain's electrical activity during sleep as neural tides, a metaphor so perfect it feels poetic. When neurons synchronize, they rise and fall in voltage, rippling like gentle waves through the cortex. And when the ocean currents shift in the triangle, they too create vast, rolling changes in energy, waves of temperature, density, and magnetism that sweep across hundreds of miles. If you could listen to it, it would sound like a lullaby played by the planet itself. Somewhere deep beneath the calm surface, hydrothermal vents release faint ribbons of warmth. They flicker and shimmer in the darkness, like underwater campfires burning at the edge of the Earth's crust. Each vent creates its own microclimate, its own rhythm of life, and in these deep, warm pockets, unique creatures thrive: blind shrimp, translucent fish, tiny worms that dance in currents of mineral-rich water. Their existence mirrors our own internal ecosystems, cells responding to heat, movement, and light in patterns that echo through us all. If you close your eyes for a moment and imagine your own heartbeat as a small ocean current, you can begin to feel the connection, the pulse that links you to the same rhythm shaping the Bermuda Triangle tonight. Every inhale pulls warmth through you. Every exhale releases stillness, just as the Gulf Stream pulls warmth northward, and the deep ocean exhales cold water back into the abyss. Everything that breathes, human, animal, or planet, is part of the same slow conversation of movement, a conversation that began long before words and will continue long after sound. Some scientists studying circadian rhythms in marine organisms have found that even the tiniest plankton cells follow light patterns from the moon. They adjust their bioluminescence to lunar cycles, glowing brighter under full moons, fading when the moon is dark. It's a nightly dance between sky and sea, between reflection and response. And as you lie here listening, you too are part of that exchange. Your sleep is your own tide, your thoughts receding softly into darkness, your mind glowing faintly with dreams, like phosphorescent plankton in the dark water of night. Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle's mystery is not about what disappears, but what synchronizes ships and planes may have vanished. But the greater mystery lies in how everything here moves in quiet, invisible harmony. It's not chaos, but choreography, a dance of temperature, magnetism, and sound. And the deeper you listen, the more you realize the triangle hums with order, an order so vast we can only sense it, never measure it. The ocean's currents and your sleeping mind are not so different. Both are guided by unseen forces, both drift between stillness and motion, and both find balance in the rhythm of surrender. To rest is not to stop, it is to flow more deeply, to allow the body's currents to find equilibrium, just as the ocean, after every storm, settles back into quiet waves of peace. So as you lie here now, let your breath match the tide, in and out. Warmth and coolness rise and fall. Imagine those invisible rivers beneath the sea, continuing their eternal journey. And imagine your own body joining them, becoming part of that vast circulation, that shared pulse between human and earth. You are not separate from the ocean. You are its echo, a fragment of its song, a reflection of its timeless calm. And as the night deepens, we'll drift further still, beyond the currents and the tides, into the strange, luminous edge between reality and dream, where light bends and time slows, where the ocean's shimmer meets the fabric of space itself. That is where we'll go next, following the trail of starlight that touches the Bermuda Triangle, into the science of illusion, reflection, and the dreaming sea. Now breathe slowly, let your thoughts float, and allow the current of sleep to carry you onward. Have you ever stared at the ocean at night and felt as if it was staring back? As if its shimmering surface wasn't just reflecting the sky, but remembering it? There's something about moonlight on water that feels alive. The way it stretches, glitters, and vanishes with every small ripple, like a living mirror that refuses to stay still. Have you ever wondered why the sea glows that way? Why it sometimes feels as though it's dreaming right along with you? Imagine yourself drifting once more above the dark waters of the Bermuda Triangle. The stars overhead shimmer through thin clouds, their reflections trembling across the gentle waves. You feel as if you're suspended between two identical skies, one above, vast and endless, and one below, liquid and alive. The boundary between air and water begins to blur. You're not sure which way is up anymore, and for a moment, it feels like gravity itself has grown softer, as though the world is turning in slow motion, balancing between waking and dreaming in this mysterious region, where so many stories of disappearance began. Light plays its own quiet tricks. It bends, refracts, and scatters in strange ways. The air above these waters is often dense with moisture and heat, creating invisible layers of air that bend light. Sailors of centuries past would see ships appear on the horizon, only to dissolve a moment later into nothing. What they saw were superior mirages, an illusion caused when warm air rests atop cooler layers, a bending of the eye and the world. The horizon itself becomes a canvas of shifting reflections, and sometimes, for just a second, the sea seems to rise up to meet the sky. Modern scientists can explain this, but the beauty of it remains unmeasured. Imagine standing on the deck of a vessel. Centuries ago, no engines, no GPS, just the creak of wood and the flicker of lanterns. When, suddenly, an entire ship appears hovering above the waves. An impossible sight, silent, radiant, ghostly. That's the Bermuda mirage, a bending of light, so precise it feels like magic. Even radar signals can reflect strangely here, bouncing between atmospheric layers, confusing pilots and navigators alike. It's as though the very air is alive, a trickster artist painting scenes that vanish the moment you blink. There's also the bioluminescence, the living light of the sea in these warm Atlantic waters. Tiny plankton, called dinoflagellates, drift in endless swarms. When disturbed, they glow with a faint, electric blue. If you were to trail your fingers through the dark surface, each movement would leave a sparkling trace, a river of light that swirls and fades. It's not rare in the triangle at times. Entire waves ignite in silence. Neon cascades, the ocean glows, not from the stars above, but from the microscopic stars within it, a sea alive with its own soft fire. Scientists call it a chemical reaction, luciferin meeting oxygen, but to the eyes, it feels like magic. When the water glows beneath the hull of a ship, it looks like the world is breathing light. Each flash a heartbeat, each sparkle a sigh, and the motion of the waves turns into a slow, blue pulse, like neurons firing across the mind of the earth in the stillness of night. There are moments when these reflections from moon, from sky, from plankton seem to merge. The ocean becomes a mirror to the cosmos, and the cosmos becomes a mirror to the ocean. For centuries, navigators called it the double night, when the boundary between sky and sea dissolves, and the universe folds over itself like silk. It's easy to imagine that this was where sailors lost their sense of direction, not to danger, but to beauty, too immense to comprehend. Light behaves strangely in the Bermuda Triangle, not only because of air and water, but because of magnetism. Scientists have found that variations in the Earth's magnetic field here can subtly alter how electromagnetic waves move. It's an invisible dance between physics and perception. Even lightning behaves differently, sometimes striking upward, reaching toward the heavens in glowing white branches, as if the sky and sea are exchanging signals, communicating in flashes of light and static. And if you listen closely, you might hear the faint hiss of electricity meeting the air, a whisper of energy too delicate to disturb your peace. The truth is, light doesn't just reflect here. Particles of salt and vapor hang suspended in the humid air, bending the rays into slow, soft arcs. That's why sunsets in the Bermuda region lasts longer. The colors fade reluctantly, melting from gold to rose to violet to the faintest shade of blue-gray, like the fading edge of a dream. And under that dim sky, the human brain responds. Your pineal gland senses the shift in color and brightness, releasing melatonin, the chemical that signals your body it's time to rest, to sleep, to surrender. Did you know that ancient navigators once believed the ocean could hypnotize? They called it mer dormiens, the sleeping sea. They wrote that the rhythmic glimmer of the water could pull a person into trance, that sailors would stand at the rail too long, watching the endless reflections, until their thoughts melted into stillness. They said it wasn't madness, but enchantment, a deep surrender to the ocean's rhythm. Today, neuroscientists call it entrainment, when rhythmic light and sound patterns slow the brain's electrical activity. Mirrors, flickers, waves, they all have this effect. They synchronize your thoughts into harmony, bringing your mind into its own version of calm water. So when you lie in bed tonight, listening to the soft rhythm of your breathing, your body is performing the same ancient act. Your brainwaves are shifting from wakefulness to alpha, then to theta, then finally into delta, the slowest, deepest rhythm of all, where thoughts dissolve into imagery and light becomes dream. It's the same descent the ocean performs every night, when the sun disappears and the deep sea begins to glow faintly from within. Perhaps that's the greatest secret of the Bermuda Triangle, not a portal, not a curse, but a mirror reflecting the transitions between day and night, between science and mystery, between waking and sleeping. And maybe that's why it calls to dreamers, because somewhere inside us, we recognize that shimmer, that edge where the known meets the unknown, where the light fades gently into silence as the waves continue to roll, and the stars shimmer faintly on the horizon. Let the imagery of light and reflection drift through your thoughts. Imagine the bioluminescent glow beneath your fingertips, the phantom ships hovering on the horizon, the sky and sea breathing as one. Let that rhythm slow your mind, let it draw you deeper, until your thoughts begin to blur, like ripples dissolving into still water. And as we continue our journey through the silent mysteries of this place, we'll dive next into the deep layers beneath the surface, where light cannot reach, where darkness isn't emptiness, but another kind of knowing. There, in the silence below, we'll discover how the ocean keeps memories, and how its slow, hidden movements mirror the mind in dreams. So breathe deeply once more, let the glow fade softly from your thoughts, and prepare to drift downward into the dreaming depths of the triangle, where silence becomes sound and the ocean remembers everything. Have you ever closed your eyes and felt as though you were sinking, not in fear, but in surrender? That gentle drifting downward, where thoughts lose their sharp edges and the world turns soft. Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the calm surface of the Bermuda Triangle? Beneath the mirrored skin of the sea, beneath the glowing plankton and dancing light, in the dark water where sunlight has never reached, and yet something ancient continues to breathe. Picture yourself now descending slowly through that darkness, the surface above you fading from blue to green to black. You are surrounded by water so vast, so endless, it feels almost unreal. Every sound is muffled, every movement deliberate. Tiny particles drift around you, glowing, swirling, dissolving. It feels like falling through time, like slipping into a dream older than language. Down here, in the deep basins of the Atlantic, the ocean is not empty, it's filled with memory. Every current, every grain of silt, every drifting shell and whisper of sound carries a fragment of history. Scientists call it marine snow, a continuous shower of organic material falling from the surface, made of dust, tiny plankton, and fragments of life long past. It descends through miles of black water, settling on the ocean floor like the ashes of ancient stars. It's poetic, isn't it? The idea that even the ocean remembers, that it holds within its depths a slow archive of time. Each layer of sediment is a page, each ripple of the seabed, a quiet signature of the planet's breath. Researchers at the Lamontatority Earth Observatory have drilled cores from the ocean floor, extracting long cylinders of compacted memory, sediment that records volcanic eruptions, meteor impacts, and climate shifts, events older than humanity itself. It's all still there, sleeping beneath the waves, waiting for someone to listen. But not all memory is written in stone or sand. Some of it moves, some of it swims. In the deep layers of the Bermuda Triangle, far below the light, creatures live that defy expectation. Transparent, luminous, silent, they glow in patterns, flashing signals in the dark to communicate, to hunt, or to court. Each flicker is information. Each rhythm, a kind of language. Scientists studying deep-sea bioluminescence say that these creatures may be older than light itself. Their biology preserved through epochs of change. They are living fossils of communication. And in that sense, the ocean's memory is alive. It remembers through rhythm, through energy, through repetition, just as our own brains do. When you dream, your neurons replay patterns from the day. They sort, encode, and release. Memory isn't static, it's fluid, dynamic. It moves through you like a current, and when you sleep, it sinks deeper down into the subconscious, just as marine snow drifts into the deep ocean, settling softly where it will rest until something, a thought, a current, a memory stirs it again. Imagine your mind as an ocean, thoughts glittering on the surface like sunlight, ideas darting like fish beneath the waves. And deep below, your long-term memories lie quiet, heavy, ancient. When you dream, you are diving into that darkness, exploring your own uncharted sea. Some dreams are simple ripples, others are storms, but all of them are made of fragments, echoes that rise from the depths, reshaped by imagination, just as old materials on the ocean floor are stirred and reborn into new life. Now imagine how vast the Bermuda depths truly are. The deepest trench in this part of the Atlantic is nearly 27,000 feet. That's deeper than Mount Everest is tall down there. Pressure would crush any ordinary vessel, yet life thrives quietly, impossibly. There are organisms that feed on heat and minerals instead of sunlight, their bodies designed to withstand forces beyond comprehension. They exist in near silence, in temperatures close to freezing, in darkness so complete that sight itself becomes unnecessary. And yet they glow because light, it seems, refuses to die completely. Even here, at the edge of the world, the ocean remembers light. There's something humbling about that, the thought that memory and persistence are intertwined, that every cell, every ripple, carries a trace of what came before. The same is true of human sleep every night. When your body drifts into its deepest stages, your brain begins to clear out waste, literally washing itself clean. It's called the glymphatic system, a network of channels that flushes away old thoughts, old data, making room for the new. It's the same process that happens in the sea. Currents clearing sediment, nutrients cycling through layers of water, memory flowing and dissolving at the same time. And if you listen closely, the ocean does have a voice. Not one you hear with your ears, but one that speaks in vibrations. Deep-sea microphones have recorded low-frequency sounds in the Bermuda region. They are long, slow pulses, like sighs, sometimes lasting for hours. Some scientists think they're caused by shifting tectonic plates, others by vast underwater landslides. But to a sleeping listener, they sound like the ocean dreaming, each rumble a wordless memory, each vibration a chapter written in the language of pressure and time. It's said that sound travels faster in water than in air, but it also travels farther. That means a single whisper from a whale can be heard hundreds of miles away. Imagine that a creature singing in the dark, its voice echoing through canyons of salt water, carrying memories from one side of the triangle to the other. When you hear whale song recorded here, it sounds both mournful and peaceful, a melody that feels familiar, even if you've never heard it before. And maybe that's because, deep down, we share something with them, the same rhythm of heartbeats, the same longing for connection across distance, the same habit of singing into silence. The ocean keeps no judgment. It doesn't remember in the way we do, with nostalgia or regret. Its memory is cyclical, impartial, eternal. It takes in, it transforms, it releases, just as we do in sleep when your body dreams. You aren't replaying life exactly. You're reorganizing it, turning chaos into pattern, emotion into peace, noise into melody. That's what the deep sea does with its currents, turning storm into calm, sediment into life, past into future. Perhaps the real secret of the Bermuda Triangle isn't disappearance, but transformation. Nothing vanishes, it only changes form. Ships that sink become reefs, debris becomes shelter, energy becomes memory, and all of it eventually becomes stillness. In that stillness lies peace, a reminder that even in darkness, nothing is truly lost. So as you lie here now, listening to this soft rhythm of words, imagine your thoughts drifting down like marine snow, falling gently, silently, settling at the quietest place within you. There is no rush here, no need to rise or remember, only to rest, to let your mind mirror the slow patience of the sea, to know that even as you sleep, you are part of something vast, a consciousness that holds everything and forgets nothing. In the next part of our journey, we'll drift deeper still, beyond memory and into time itself. We'll explore how the ocean measures time without clocks, through tides, gravity, and celestial motion, and how those same patterns shape your body's internal rhythm, the circadian pulse that guides your waking and dreaming. But for now, let yourself float. Let the ocean hold you. Let the darkness cradle your thoughts. And as your breath slows, know that you are safe in the deep, resting in the ocean's memory. Have you ever wondered why the ocean seems to breathe? How, no matter where you stand, along its edge, the waves always arrive, retreat, and return again, as though the sea itself were inhaling and exhaling beneath the sky. It's not random, not chaotic. It's a heartbeat written in water, a pulse older than life itself. And perhaps, somewhere deep inside you, you move to that same rhythm. Picture yourself standing at the edge of the Bermuda shore. The night is velvet dark. The sky stretched endlessly above you like a slow tide of stars. Each wave curls toward your feet, whispers against the sand, and pulls away again. You can feel the rhythm, a subtle tug, the earth breathing through the sea, and in that quiet, if you listen not with your ears, but with your whole being, you realize you have a tide within you too. The ocean's tides are born from gravity, the invisible pull between the earth, the moon, and the sun. When the moon hovers above a part of the planet, its gravity draws the water toward it, creating a bulge, a high tide. On the opposite side of the earth, another bulge forms, because the planet itself is being pulled slightly toward the moon. And between those bulges lie the low tides. The ocean, like a massive clock, keeps perfect time with the sky, and so do you. Inside your brain lies a small cluster of cells, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, your body's master clock. It sits just behind your eyes, reading the light, sensing the darkness, telling your body when to wake, when to rest, when to release hormones that make you alert, and when to let go, to fall asleep. It's your internal tide, guided by the same cosmic rhythm that pulls the sea. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour cycle of light and dark that influences everything: your heartbeat, your temperature, your mood, your dreams. Every living being on Earth, from coral reefs to trees to human minds, is caught in this eternal loop. Just as the moon draws the tides, the rising and setting of the sun draws the rhythm of your body. And if you've ever felt off balance, jet-lagged, sleepless, or disconnected from time, it's because your inner tide and the world's tide are out of sync. Imagine, for a moment, that your breath mirrors the ocean. Inhale, the tide comes in. Exhale, it drifts away. This pattern is the oldest lullaby on Earth, long before humans built clocks. Long before civilizations counted hours, the sea marked time. Its rise and fall set the pace for the life it held. Coral polyps opened and closed with the tide. Crabs scuttled in rhythm with the moon. Even plankton, the smallest drifting life, floated upward in the night to feed, then sank again by morning. A cosmic choreography played out in silence. But what if I told you that even now, as you lie here listening, your body is performing the same quiet dance? Your temperature dips slightly as your core cools for sleep. Your heart slows to conserve energy. Your brain begins to hum in a slower wave, theta, delta, the same frequencies found in the rhythm of ocean waves. Every cell in your body listens to that rhythm and obeys. Because your body doesn't just exist on Earth, it's synchronized with it. Here in the Bermuda Triangle, where myths speak of strange vanishings and distortions of time, scientists have long studied another mystery, not of lost ships, but of magnetic fields. The Earth's magnetic lines curve and twist more strongly here, guided by iron-rich crusts deep below the sea. These magnetic fluctuations subtly affect navigation and, some speculate, even living biology. Migrating birds, whales, and sea turtles use magnetic sense to navigate a biological compass that tells them where home is. They can feel the pull of the planet's invisible lines, the same way the ocean feels the moon. Could it be that humans, too, still sense this invisible rhythm, even if we've forgotten how to listen? Perhaps that's why we find the sea so hypnotic. Why waves can calm a restless mind, because somewhere deep within us, our ancient biology remembers the ocean, remembers being guided by it, rocked by its rhythm, cradled in its pulse. It's fascinating. Our bodies are made mostly of water. Our blood salinity mirrors the ocean's salt balance. The iron in our blood echoes the iron core of the earth. The calcium in our bones once belonged to stardust that drifted into seas. You are not separate from the ocean. You are a continuation of it. The tide that moves in your veins is the same that turns beneath the moon when you sleep. That connection deepens. Your conscious mind lets go, and what remains is pure rhythm. Your breath and heartbeat syncing with the pulse of the world. In ancient Polynesian cultures, navigators would rest their hands on the hulls of their canoes. Feeling the faint rhythm of waves against wood, they could sense direction, not by sight, but by vibration. They said the ocean spoke, and those who learned to listen could never be lost. Maybe that's what sleep really is, not drifting away, but finding direction again, listening for that quiet internal tide that guides you home. Time in the ocean does not move in straight lines. It spirals, it returns, the same way the tide comes back, the same way memories return in dreams. Scientists studying deep-sea currents have discovered that some of them take 1,000 years to complete a single loop. Water sinking in the Arctic may not resurface until it reaches the Antarctic. Imagine that a single current carrying the memory of an ice age, still traveling beneath our feet, still part of this living rhythm of the world. Your dreams, too, follow cycles. Rapid eye movement, the REM stage, comes and goes in waves, each one carrying emotional residue from the day, sorting it, reshaping it, in a rhythm so precise it can be mapped. Your sleep has tides, rising and falling phases that guide you toward restoration. If you wake too soon, you interrupt the loop. But if you allow yourself to drift, your mind completes the circle. And when you wake, you rise lighter, calmer, as if you've surfaced from the deep. Some researchers say that even time perception itself is linked to these biological rhythms. When you're calm, time expands, moments feel slower, deeper, but in anxiety or rush, your inner clock tightens, time feels scarce. Your body forgets the natural tide, and that's why relaxation isn't just pleasant, it's necessary. It's how you synchronize again with your own ocean out here on the invisible edge of the Bermuda Triangle. The currents, magnetic fields, and tides converge in complex ways. But what if, instead of chaos, it's harmony we're witnessing? A deeper pattern hidden beneath the surface, a slow, deliberate dance between gravity, magnetism, and motion. Just like the harmony in your own heartbeat, the push and pull of stress and peace, effort and release, wakefulness and sleep, all parts of one larger breathing cycle. And so, as you listen now, let your breath become slower. Let your body rise and fall with the rhythm of the sea. There is no rush, there is no destination, only this moment, the turning of time through you, the tides moving softly beneath your ribs, the pulse of the earth reminding you that you belong. You are not separate from the world. You are part of its rhythm, a note in its eternal song. When you next hear the ocean, remember, it's not just water moving. It's the universe keeping time, and within that time, you too are being kept, watched over, rocked gently in the slow gravity of sleep. In our next drift, we'll explore the strange magnetism of the triangle itself, the invisible lines that bend compasses, confuse travelers, and maybe even alter perception. We'll explore the science behind those fields and the deeper mystery of how energy, both visible and unseen, shapes not only the sea, but the mind. For now, let the tides carry you inward, into rest, into rhythm, into the stillness that waits between waves. Have you ever felt a strange pull toward a place you couldn't explain? A sensation as if something unseen was quietly guiding you. Perhaps it was déjà vu, or a faint magnetic whisper beneath the surface of awareness. In the Bermuda Triangle, such whispers are said to shape destinies. Compasses spin, directions blur, and the sea itself seems to twist time. But behind the legends lies a quieter truth, a science of magnetism, a story not of chaos, but of energy, invisible lines of force weaving through water and air, drawing everything from iron to instinct into motion. Now, imagine yourself floating above that vast triangle of sea, high enough that the world curves beneath you. The deep blue surface glimmers, veined with lighter streaks where currents meet. Beneath the waves lie miles of crust, rich in minerals, basalt, magnetite, iron, the bones of an ancient seafloor. When the earth first cooled, molten rock spilled from its wounds, and as that magma solidified beneath the Atlantic, it locked in the memory of the planet's magnetic field. That memory still hums beneath the Bermuda depths, a silent resonance that distorts instruments, and sometimes, perhaps, even minds. Scientists call these regions magnetic anomalies, places where the field is unusually strong or strangely aligned. And the Bermuda Triangle sits within one of the most curious of them all. Here, the Earth's magnetic north and its geographic north once aligned perfectly. That means, at certain moments in history, compasses would point not toward the pole, but straight through the region itself. To sailors, centuries ago, it must have seemed like witchcraft. To scientists today, it's a window into the planet's unseen architecture. Magnetism, though invisible, is everywhere. It shapes the flow of molten iron in the Earth's core. It guides migratory birds and whales across oceans. It drives particles in the solar wind. Even your heart, that quiet muscle, produces a faint magnetic field with each beat, tiny but measurable, and your brain does too. Every thought, every spark of memory, every dream flickering in the dark, is an electrical current dancing inside a magnetic field. You, too, are part of this planetary symphony of invisible force. Picture yourself diving again, this time not into water, but into the unseen ocean of magnetism that surrounds everything. It has no color, no weight, yet it shapes the very order of reality. The Earth's magnetic field extends thousands of miles into space, forming a shimmering bubble called the magnetosphere. It shields the planet from solar radiation, deflecting charged particles from the sun that could strip our atmosphere away. Without it, there would be no air, no water, no life. The same field that bends compasses in the triangle also protects your heartbeat, protects your breath, protects the quiet of the world as you know it. But within this vast field, there are places of instability, flickering zones where energy shifts more rapidly. The Bermuda region is one of these thresholds, a place where the deep crust holds pockets of high magnetite concentration, where shifting currents and temperature differences cause the field to waver just enough to confuse instruments. To sailors before the age of satellites, a needle's sudden twitch could mean disaster. A compass that refused to settle, a map that no longer matched the stars. It must have felt like time itself had slipped, like the world had turned sideways. Even today, pilots flying through the region record strange interference. Compass drift, radio static, flickers on radar screens. Not supernatural, but electromagnetic, a natural mirage in the language of magnetism. Scientists have measured micropulses in the field here, frequencies that ripple up from the seafloor like ghostly waves. Some last seconds, others hours. They're caused by shifting magma beneath the crust, by the slow churning of the Earth's molten heart. And every pulse, every ripple, is like a heartbeat, reminding us that the planet itself is alive now. Imagine what this means for creatures of the deep, whales, sharks, sea turtles. They navigate using magnetoreception, a sense we humans once may have had, but lost. They can feel magnetic lines the way you might feel warmth or touch. They know where north is, even in darkness. Some turtles, born on a Bermuda beach, will one day return to that exact stretch of sand, guided across thousands of miles by nothing but the Earth's invisible map. That's not instinct, that's memory written in magnetism, a biological compass calibrated by the stars and the sea. In humans, traces of magnetic sensitivity still remain. Studies show that certain brain cells respond faintly to magnetic changes, as if a long dormant sense still listens somewhere deep within us. Maybe that's why the ocean's pull feels spiritual, why we feel smaller, yet more whole beside it. Because part of us recognizes the field, feels it like a hum beneath the skin, a resonance between the heart's pulse and the planet's. We call it calm or awe, but perhaps it's something older, a remembrance of alignment. The mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle, so often told as tales of vanishing, might, in truth, be stories of synchronization, moments where living things, energy, and the Earth's field resonate in ways we don't yet understand. When the frequencies of sky and sea converge, time may not bend, but perception might, for just a moment. A compass or a mind may lose its north. But because it has touched a deeper layer of the world's pattern, magnetism also shapes time in subtle ways. Atomic clocks aboard satellites must account for changes in gravitational and magnetic strength. Even light, the fastest traveler, bends around magnetic fields every second. Every heartbeat is slightly stretched or compressed depending on the invisible fabric it moves through. So when you hear tales of clocks stopping, of hours missing in the Bermuda skies, maybe it's not fantasy, but a reminder that time itself is elastic, that the world's pulse can slow or quicken, just as yours does as you drift toward sleep. And isn't that what happens each night? When your mind loosens from the rigid sense of hours and minutes, when thoughts untangle and you slip into dreaming, you enter your own magnetic field, the quiet interior where memory, emotion, and imagination orbit each other. Your brain waves slow, your heartbeat steadies, the static of the day clears, until all that's left is signal, pure, rhythmic, soft, like the hum of the earth beneath the Bermuda Sea. In the language of physics, magnetism is the order that holds chaos together. It is attraction and repulsion, balance and tension, the invisible dance that keeps the universe from drifting apart. And maybe that's why we're drawn to mystery, because we, too, are magnetic beings, pulled toward wonder, toward discovery, toward the unseen. Picture the ocean floor, now black rock glimmering faintly beneath the glow of bioluminescent fish, ridges like the scars of creation, magnetic lines flowing through stone like veins. They pulse slowly, a planet's nervous system, a language older than words. And above that, you, floating, dreaming, listening, your heart aligning with the deep frequencies below, your breath syncing with the slow pulse of the planet, each inhale a northward pull, each exhale a surrender to gravity. As the night deepens, the field quiets, the ocean calms, and your body begins to drift in perfect stillness. This is what it means to be in tune, not with sound, but with silence, not with thought, but with the magnetic truth of being. You are not separate from this invisible force. You are part of it, a magnetic body dreaming in a magnetic world. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into how the ocean and the sky communicate, through lightning, storms, and static, through flashes that leap between clouds and waves. We'll uncover how energy moves between water and air, and how those exchanges shape both the planet's weather and your brain's electric calm. But for now, let go of direction. Let go of thought. Let your compass spin freely, because in this moment there's nowhere to go, nothing to find, only to feel the magnetic heartbeat of the earth and the quiet hum of your own. Have you ever listened to thunder far out at sea, that low, trembling growl that rolls across the horizon long after the lightning has faded? It sounds almost alive, as if the sky itself were breathing, and perhaps, in a way, it is. Because every storm, every flicker of lightning, every drop of rain is part of a conversation that has been going on for billions of years. A whisper between the ocean and the atmosphere. A secret exchange of energy that fuels not only weather, but the balance of life itself. Now imagine yourself drifting above the Bermuda Triangle, suspended in the space between storm and sea. Below you, waves move in slow patterns of silver and black. Above, clouds gather like great living beings. The air grows heavy, full of scent and charge. It's the moment before the first flash, when everything is silent, when even the wind holds its breath. This is where the dance begins. Every storm starts as warmth, the ocean's heat rising invisibly into the sky. The Bermuda region, with its warm waters and deep currents, is one of the planet's great engines of weather. Here, the sea exhales, moisture and heat carried upward, fueling colossal towers of vapor that twist into thunderclouds. What looks like chaos from above is, in truth, a delicate negotiation between air, water, and energy. The clouds gather, the air begins to spin, the atmosphere listens to the sea, and then it answers. A flash tears through the sky, lightning. For a fraction of a second, the air burns 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Light leaps from sky to water, from cloud to wave, and in that instant, energy moves. The sky gives back what the sea has offered, a trade in light and sound, a conversation in electricity. What few realize is that lightning doesn't just illuminate, it fertilizes. Each strike creates nitrogen compounds that rain down into the ocean, feeding plankton, feeding fish, feeding the cycle of life itself. The storm gives back what it takes, like a heartbeat balancing itself. Scientists studying the Bermuda Triangle's atmosphere have long noted that it acts like a natural capacitor, a region where moisture, heat, and electromagnetic charge build up faster than normal. It's not just meteorology, it's electricity in motion. The storms here are among the most intense in the Atlantic, their structure almost alive. Some pilots have described flying through them as entering a glowing tunnel of static, light shimmering across the cockpit glass, radios crackling with ghostly voices, not spirits, but charged particles, the language of plasma and ionized air. Have you ever been near lightning when it struck close? That metallic sent the ozone, that feeling in your skin, like your body knew before your mind. It's because your own nervous system runs on the same current. Your heart beats by electricity. Your brain fires in sparks. You are lightning slowed down energy, given thought, conscious electricity wrapped in skin. Perhaps that's why storms hold such power over the human psyche. We recognize something of ourselves in them. Their fury, their rhythm, their release. The ocean builds pressure. The sky responds. The thunder follows. It's emotion in weather, a planet's way of feeling. When a storm passes over the Bermuda Sea, it doesn't just bring rain, it reshapes energy. The sea surface cools slightly, winds churn the layers of water, nutrients rise from the depths, new life begins. It's like the ocean is stirring itself awake, and above it, the air clears, charged particles reorganize. The magnetic field quiets again, the system resets, just as the mind resets after release, after a storm of thought, after tears, after dreams. The calm that follows isn't emptiness, it's balance restored. There's another mystery here, a phenomenon known as St. Elmo's fire. Sailors have seen it for centuries, ghostly blue flames dancing along their ship's masts during storms. Not true fire, but plasma, the air itself, glowing as it becomes charged. It's a rare, sacred sight, and in the Bermuda Triangle, it appears more often than anywhere else on Earth. It's the sky's soft reminder that not all light is born of destruction. Some light is born of connection. There's a quiet poetry to this exchange. Every flash above creates ripples below. Lightning's energy enters the sea, traveling through salt water as electricity. For a brief moment, the ocean becomes a conductor, carrying sky-born energy into its hidden depths, and down there, in the silent dark, there are creatures that can sense it. Sharks, for instance, possess electroreceptors called ampulla of Lorenzini, tiny gel-filled pores that detect even the faintest currents. They can feel storms long before they reach the surface. They can feel the heartbeat of the planet. They move with it, never against it, perhaps, in their way. They are the true storm whisperers. And so, lightning becomes memory. Rain becomes renewal. Thunder becomes rhythm. The entire planet breathes through these storms, and in each breath there's a story. Now, imagine, as you float above that dark ocean, a massive thunderhead rises before you, its base glowing with internal light. Bolts flash silently within it, like thoughts forming inside a mind. The air vibrates. You can feel it through your body. not as fear, but as resonance. The sea hums below, and for a moment, the boundary between water and sky disappears. They become one field of energy, endless, electric, alive. And you are part of it. When you dream, your brain behaves in similar ways. Bursts of electrical activity pulse through your neurons. Images flash, emotions swirl, synapses light up like mini lightning storms. Scientists call this neural discharge, but perhaps, more beautifully, it's the storm of consciousness. Your mind clearing its skies, making way for calm. The parallels are perfect. The same natural physics governs both the weather above and the weather within. As the storm fades, the clouds begin to open. Moonlight spills through the air, washed clean. Feels cool against your skin. This is the exhale after the storm's breath. The great release. You can almost hear the earth sigh. Even the sea seems to rest, its surface now smooth, reflecting the stars like scattered pearls. Everything is quiet again, balanced again as it should be. And just as the sea releases energy through storms, your own mind releases tension through dreams, through emotion, through surrender. The lesson is always the same. What rises must fall. What builds must break. And in every ending, there's renewal. The sky teaches this endlessly. The sea repeats it faithfully. And the soul, if it listens, remembers it always. They say sailors in the old days learned to read the sky by its tone, by how it felt, not how it looked. A faint vibration in the air before lightning, a sudden stillness before wind. They didn't fear it, they understood it. They became fluent in the language of the sea and sky. And maybe that's what peace really is, not the absence of storms, but the ability to hear them without panic, to watch the lightning and still feel safe, to trust that the light will fade. And calm will return as you lie here now, listening to this ocean of words. You can feel your own inner weather balancing, the static of thought settling, the winds of emotion softening, until all that remains is quiet, gentle, rhythmic, familiar, the heartbeat of a calm world. And perhaps, as you drift toward sleep, you'll remember this. The storms were never against you. They were simply the sky learning to breathe. And every flash, every roar was the sound of the universe releasing, so that peace could return again in the next chapter. We'll follow that energy deeper into the ocean's electrical currents, the hidden rivers of power that flow through salt and pressure, the silent circuitry that connects continents, and maybe, just maybe, we'll uncover how the sea itself dreams in electricity. But for now, let go. The storm has passed. The air is cool. The ocean sleeps beneath you, and all that remains is the slow rhythm of the planet's heart, beating softly in time with your own. Have you ever wondered what lives inside the silence of the deep? Not the creatures or the coral or even the darkness itself, but the invisible heartbeat that moves through the ocean, the pulse of power that never sleeps, hidden in the deep layers beneath the Bermuda Triangle. There exists a living current, an electric rhythm, so vast, so constant, that the entire planet sways to its flow. Now picture yourself drifting just below the surface. The light above you ripples like soft fabric, a dance of silver and blue. Beneath that glowing ceiling, the water is calm. But deeper down, there is motion, slow and deliberate, an endless migration of energy. The ocean, though it looks still from above, is threaded with rivers of invisible electricity. It breathes through them. It remembers through them. It connects continents through them. Scientists call this the global ocean current system, a network of flowing salt and temperature. But there's another, quieter system hidden within it, the marine electric field. Born from the movement of ions in salt water. It's a living circuit, the sea's secret bloodstream. And the Bermuda Triangle, with its powerful mix of warm and cold waters, is one of its most active chambers. Every wave, every swirl, every rising tide generates a faint electrical signal. The water moves, and charged particles move with it. Each ion, each molecule becomes part of a symphony of charge. It's not enough to light a bulb, but it's enough to speak to life. Because the creatures that live here, from the tiniest plankton to the great leather-backed turtle, can feel it. They navigate by it. They are guided not by sight or sound, but by this subtle, silent current. Imagine that, a world where maps are electric, where direction hums through the skin, where the body itself becomes a compass. Turtles can travel thousands of miles and still return to the exact same beach where they were born. Sharks can sense the faint electrical field of a fish buried beneath the sand. Whales feel the flow of magnetic lines beneath the sea. They do not get lost because they are tuned to something we cannot see. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, if perhaps humans once felt this too, before the noise of our cities drowned the whisper of the planet, before lights replaced stars and machines replaced the rhythm of tides. Maybe that's why we find the ocean so hypnotic, because somewhere deep within us, the water still remembers. The Bermuda Triangle is a rare place where this field intensifies, where currents twist and merge, where warm Gulf Stream waters collide with colder, deep Atlantic layers, creating immense electrical gradients, invisible pathways of charge. Satellites have even detected magnetic anomalies there, subtle, shifting, unpredictable, like the ocean trying to hide its circuitry. Some researchers believe these variations may play tricks on navigation systems. Compasses spinning slightly, instruments glitching for seconds. A tiny shift in electromagnetic energy, just enough to confuse, just enough to unsettle, but not enough to harm. It's as if the sea is reminding us, you are passing through something alive. If you could see the electric veins of the ocean, they would glow faintly blue, streaming from pole to pole, threading through ridges and trenches, branching off into the Bermuda region like capillaries feeding a living heart. Each current hums at a slightly different frequency. Each carries its own voice, and together they create a planetary hum, a vibration that can be recorded by sensitive instruments, a frequency that pulses quietly beneath the sound of waves. It's been measured, the ocean's electromagnetic resonance, a slow, rhythmic beat known as Schumann resonance, caused by lightning, waves, and the Earth's ionosphere. It circles the planet continuously. It passes through you now as you listen. Gentle, low, undetectable to your ears, but always there. A reminder that even silence has structure. The more you descend, the more the sound of the surface fades. Down here, in the deep twilight zone, the ocean glows faintly from within. Small organisms drift by like floating lanterns. Jellyfish pulsing with their own internal light. Electric fish releasing bursts of charge, tiny sparks in an otherwise infinite dark. This is nature's electricity, not violent like lightning, but patient, alive, responsive. It flows between creature and current, between salt and cell, a perfect equilibrium of energy and life. The Bermuda seafloor is carved by trenches and plateaus, and within these ancient valleys, sensors have detected unexplained electrical signatures, as if the earth itself were breathing beneath the water. The pressure, the heat, the mineral-rich rocks all contribute to this undersea dynamo. Hydrothermal vents release charged particles. Metallic minerals create tiny conductive paths. The seafloor becomes a giant battery, charging the water above it with faint but measurable energy. It's no wonder legends grew here, that compasses spun and radios whispered, that ships vanished without trace, because what lies beneath this triangle is not just water and rock, but a field of living current, an unseen realm of magnetic dreams. But there's something even more haunting to consider, that perhaps this electric ocean doesn't just guide creatures, it might store memory. Salt water, after all, is an excellent conductor, and some physicists have speculated that the sea itself might record patterns of energy, like a living archive of motion and emotion, each storm, each movement, imprinting faint traces of charge, tiny electric fingerprints, moments of history, fading but never gone. If that's true, then maybe every wave you hear tonight carries whispers from the past. Maybe the same energy that once brushed against a ship's hull in 1918 still ripples faintly through these waters. Maybe the ocean doesn't forget, it simply hums, quietly, constantly, waiting for us to listen. Now, as you drift deeper into the dark blue, you feel the water grow warmer around you. A slow pulse hums against your skin. It's soft, rhythmic, steady, almost like a heartbeat. It's not yours, it's the Earth's. The magnetic current flows around you like invisible silk. And for a moment, you are not separate from it. You are the current, you are the flow. You are part of the same endless pulse that moves from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from pole to pole, through whale songs, coral reefs, and storm clouds. One long electrical breath. Did you know that even the human body generates its own magnetic field? Your heart creates measurable waves with every beat. Your brain radiates faint electrical pulses, and the frequencies of those waves are almost identical to the rhythms of the ocean currents. The same slow pattern, the same tranquil pulse. It's almost as if the body was tuned to the sea, as if your biology was born from the same charge that stirs beneath the Bermuda sky. And maybe that's why listening to the ocean feels like therapy. Why standing at the shore calms your nerves. Why watching waves feels like breathing. Because on some deep level, you and the sea share the same frequency. Your neurons fire like lightning above water, and your heartbeat echoes the tides below. The connection is not poetic. It's literal, physical, electric. As the current slows, you can feel your own mind drifting with it. Your thoughts becoming slower, your breath deeper, your body weightless. The electric hum of the planet lulling you toward rest. This is how the sea heals, not through sound, but through frequency, through resonance, through remembering what balance feels like. The ocean never stops moving, but it knows when to rest. Each tide withdraws, each current slows, and even the deep electric flow finds moments of stillness, just as you will now. your pulse sinking to the earth's, your breath to the waves, your thoughts dissolving into soft, magnetic silence. And as the water darkens into sleep, the Bermuda currents continue their journey, carrying the faint memory of your listening heartbeat, one more rhythm added to the ocean's archive, one more human story carried home by the tide. In the next chapter, we'll drift closer to the sea floor, where strange lights move through volcanic vents, where pressure bends both matter and time, and where the triangle's most mysterious energies seem to emerge from the earth itself. But for now, let go. You are part of the current, drifting in a river of silence, the ocean's electric veins glowing faintly beneath you, as sleep begins to take you home. Have you ever wondered why the darkest places in the ocean still glow? Why, in the crushing silence, where no sunlight reaches, life finds a way to create its own light down there, thousands of meters below the Bermuda Triangle, where pressure could crush a steel hull like paper, and no human eye has seen without help. Tiny living lanterns drift breathing light into the void, flickering, pulsing, signaling like stars trapped beneath the waves. Imagine yourself sinking slowly through a blue that darkens into black. The sound fades until you can only hear your breath. The surface above becomes a faint memory, a thin shimmer far away, and all around you nothing. Nothing but weightless, endless quiet. But then, something stirs, a faint spark, a thread of light in the distance. Another one beside it, and another, until the dark begins to bloom. Soft blues and greens, slow pulses of emerald and sapphire. It feels like entering a sleeping galaxy. But this isn't space. It's the ocean's own night sky. Bioluminescence, the word means living light, and it's one of the oldest secrets of life on Earth. Long before fire, before the sun ever saw the surface of the sea, creatures below were already making light from within, using chemical reactions in their cells to glow in the dark. It's not just beauty, it's language, it's defense, attraction, camouflage, a code of survival written in illumination. Here, in the Bermuda depths, this language is everywhere. The jellyfish pulse in rhythmic patterns, as if breathing through light. Tiny plankton explode into halos of brightness when disturbed. Each movement of a fish, each flicker of a fin, sets off a trail of luminous wake, like starlight smeared across the sea. Did you know, if you swim through certain regions of the Bermuda night, every movement of your hand would ignite the water around you? 1,000 pinpricks of light following your fingertips, a living echo of your motion. That glow comes from dinoflagellates, microscopic plankton that flash in defense, their light a silent scream, a burst of brightness meant to startle predators, to remind the dark that it is never truly empty. Scientists have found that this glow is not random. It follows patterns, almost rhythmic, as if responding to tides, moonlight, even sound. Some have speculated that these bioluminescent pulses might be part of a larger synchronization, an underwater symphony of timing, coordinated by electric and magnetic cues. And here, beneath the Bermuda Triangle, those rhythms are stronger, more intense, almost as if something about this place amplifies life's glow. The Bermuda seafloor is alive with movement, tiny shrimps, glowing squids, ghostly fish, all drifting through their dreamlike orbits. Some creatures create light to attract mates, others to lure prey, the anglerfish, for instance, carries a glowing lure on its head, a cold blue light that sways gently, like a hypnotic candle in a cathedral of black water. The unsuspecting wanderer drifts close, drawn by curiosity and then silence. Nature's oldest trick, beauty hiding danger, light masking hunger. But there are other stories, too, of creatures that use light to disappear. The hatchetfish, with its mirror-like body, reflects the faint glow from above to vanish against the water's shimmer. The vampire squid releases glowing clouds to confuse pursuers. Even bacteria glow to signal the health of their hosts. It's communication, it's survival, it's art. Nature's theater performed in darkness. And yet, for all its beauty, there's something haunting about it. Because bioluminescence is not just light. It's energy, transformed life, burning a little of itself to be seen. Each flash a small sacrifice, each glow a whisper of existence. The ocean's soft, steady heartbeat. If you could hover here long enough, you'd notice patterns. Some lights pulse faster, some fade slowly. Together they move like constellations across the water. Scientists call it the bioluminescent drift, a living aurora that follows deep currents, and every few nights, massive waves of glowing plankton move through the Bermuda shallows. Visible even from space, a ghostly green bloom stretching for miles. The sea itself dreaming in light. There's a theory, still unproven, that bioluminescence evolved from ancient lightning, that early cells once reacted to energy bursts from the sky, and learned to contain that spark, to hold the storm within. If that's true, then the glowing sea is the child of thunder, the ocean carrying the memory of light from the heavens. That thought alone is enough to still the mind, to make the vastness feel intimate. Because every glow beneath you might be an echo of a lightning strike that happened 1,000,000 years ago. Deep-sea submersibles exploring the Bermuda region have captured eerie footage, moving lights that shift direction, trails of glow vanishing abruptly, unexplained flashes at depths too far for known species. Some scientists attribute it to pressure or temperature changes, others to electrical phenomena near underwater ridges. But many who have seen it firsthand describe it differently. They say it feels alive, as if the ocean itself blinks, a slow, conscious flicker. Watching from below, it's in these depths that the boundary between science and myth begins to blur. Because where observation fails, imagination begins. Perhaps those mysterious flashes are the planet's dreams. Perhaps they are deep-sea signals, messages between species older than time. Or maybe they are simply beauty, untranslatable, unmeasurable, but deeply real. The physics of this light are astonishing. Inside each glowing cell, a molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme named luciferase, creating a perfect cold light. No heat, no waste, just illumination. Its chemistry perfected by evolution. An art older than fire, older than humanity. And every time it shines, it reminds us that darkness is never truly dark. Even the human eye, when exposed to complete darkness long enough, can begin to see faint patterns of its own, tiny flashes created by retinal cells, called phosphenes, your body mimicking the ocean, your mind inventing light to navigate shadow. You are, in your own way, bioluminescent. Your neurons firing electrical light deep within your skull. Your dreams glowing unseen behind closed eyes. You are not so different from the sea now. Imagine yourself floating within that glowing water. Every breath slower, every muscle lighter around you. The darkness breathes softly, the lights drift like slow thoughts. One rises near your hand, a soft orb. Pulsing in rhythm with your heartbeat, it hovers there for a moment, then fades, leaving behind only calm, only stillness, only the feeling of infinite space. The deeper you drift, the more the lights thin, until only one remains, a faint shimmer at the ocean floor. A hydrothermal vent glowing faintly like a hidden ember. Around it, strange forms move, crabs with luminous legs, worms crowned with halos of gold light, tiny shrimp swirling like fireflies in reverse gravity. This is the luminous abyss, the ocean's hidden cathedral, where life worships with light. Watching from below, it's in these depths that the boundary between science and myth begins to blur. Because where observation fails, imagination begins. Perhaps those mysterious flashes are the planet's dreams. Perhaps they are deep-sea signals, messages between species older than time, or maybe they are simply beauty, untranslatable, unmeasurable, but deeply real. The physics of this light are astonishing. Inside each glowing cell, a molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme named luciferase, creating a perfect cold light. No heat, no waste, just illumination. Its chemistry perfected by evolution. An art older than fire, older than humanity. And every time it shines, it reminds us that darkness is never truly dark. Even the human eye, when exposed to complete darkness long enough, can begin to see faint patterns of its own, tiny flashes created by retinal cells, called phosphines, your body mimicking the ocean, your mind inventing light to navigate shadow. You are, in your own way, bioluminescent, your neurons firing electrical light deep within your skull, your dreams glowing unseen behind closed eyes. You are not so different from the sea now. Imagine yourself floating within that glowing water, every breath slower, every muscle lighter around you. The darkness breathes softly, the lights drift like slow thoughts. One rises near your hand, a soft orb. Pulsing in rhythm with your heartbeat, it hovers there for a moment, then fades, leaving behind only calm, only stillness, only the feeling of infinite space. The deeper you drift, the more the lights thin, until only one remains, a faint shimmer at the ocean floor. A hydrothermal vent glowing faintly like a hidden ember. Around it, strange forms move, crabs with luminous legs, worms crowned with halos of gold light, tiny shrimp swirling like fireflies in reverse gravity. This is the luminous abyss, the ocean's hidden cathedral, where life worships with light. And you are the quiet observer, watching it unfold. No noise, no fear, just stillness and awe. You realize that what you're seeing is not chaos, but order, not darkness, but design, because even here, in this silent pressure chamber, beneath the Bermuda Sea, life continues to paint, to shimmer, to communicate, to remember. And in that realization comes peace, the understanding that even when you can't see your own light, it is still there, hidden, waiting, breathing, like the glow beneath the ocean, waiting for darkness to bring it out. So as you rest now, as your breath slows, as your mind drifts deeper into its own night. Imagine that your thoughts are tiny lights, each one fading softly, until the last remains, the thought of stillness, of calm, of belonging, and then that too dissolves, leaving only the hum of the deep and the slow rhythm of a world that glows from within. In the next chapter, we will journey even deeper, beyond light itself, into the crushing silence, where time moves differently, where the ocean floor bends gravity, and where the Bermuda mystery takes on its most otherworldly form. But for now, rest, drift, glow quietly within, for the darkness around you is simply light learning to sleep. Have you ever wondered what might be hidden beneath the deepest layers of the Bermuda Triangle? Not the crashing waves or drifting ships, but the quiet pulse of the earth itself. Scientists once believed that the ocean floor was still and uneventful, a mere basin for the restless sea. But what if beneath the tranquil, endless blue, there were forces so vast, so subtle, that they shaped the rhythm of tides, the hum of the planet, and even the rhythm of your heartbeat as you listen tonight? What if the triangle's secret wasn't chaos or disappearance, but connection, an unseen energy tying the sea to sleep, gravity to calm, and silence to something ancient and alive? Picture yourself now drifting gently down through the surface of the Atlantic, the soft moonlight dissolving into shades of blue. The deeper you go, the quieter it becomes. You can almost hear your own breathing merge with the faint vibrations of the sea, a low, eternal song that seems to come from the bones of the earth itself. Imagine resting there, weightless, surrounded by glimmers of bioluminescence, tiny lights that pulse in patterns like the heartbeat of some ancient dream. The sand below shifts like silk, forming ripples that stretch for miles. This is the hidden underworld of the Bermuda Triangle, not a place of fear, but of forgotten stillness. You are suspended in a cradle of gravity, floating between time and memory. Deep beneath this tranquil expanse lies something extraordinary: the Puerto Rico Trench, one of the deepest parts of the Atlantic Ocean, stretching nearly 8,400 meters down. Few realize that the Bermuda Triangle sits near a geological crossroads, a region where the Earth's crust bends and sighs, where tectonic plates move almost imperceptibly, creating vibrations that ripple through the ocean. These vibrations are called microseisms, the Earth's quiet breathing. To the human ear, they are silent, but sensitive instruments record them like a slow, hypnotic hum. Scientists studying sleep patterns have even noticed that low-frequency sounds, remarkably similar to these oceanic vibrations, can lull the human brain into deeper rest. Could it be that nature itself hums a lullaby we were always meant to hear? Some theorists have speculated that these resonant frequencies, the Earth's natural heartbeat, may influence more than tides. They might subtly affect magnetic fields, weather systems, and even the movement of migratory species that rely on Earth's magnetism for navigation. Imagine whales singing across the vast ocean, their calls vibrating through salt and time, harmonizing with these geological rhythms. It's a grand symphony, unheard by most, but perhaps sensed by all. The Bermuda Triangle, often labeled as a place of vanishing, might instead be an amplifier, a natural chamber, where the Earth's song becomes strong enough to stir compasses, to blur radar, and to stir the imagination of humankind. There's a fascinating scientific thread here too, something called the Schumann resonance. It's a set of electromagnetic waves trapped between the surface of the Earth and the lower edge of the ionosphere, vibrating gently at around 7.83 Hz. That's almost identical to the human brain's alpha wave frequency, the rhythm your mind enters when it's calm, meditative, or about to fall asleep. It's no coincidence, perhaps, that many people report a deep sense of peace near the ocean, or that sailors sometimes describe the hum of the sea as soothing and hypnotic. The Bermuda Triangle, sitting at a point where atmospheric and magnetic patterns intersect, could be one of the strongest natural amplifiers of this resonance, a place where Earth's and mind's frequencies quietly align. Imagine it now, the ocean's floor as a vast tuning fork, resonating with the pulse of the planet, sending soft waves of energy upward through the water, into the air, and, somehow, into the rhythm of your own body. Perhaps that's why so many sleep meditations use ocean sounds, the steady hush of waves, the slow, rhythmic crash against sand. Your brain recognizes the pattern instinctively, as if it remembers something ancient, something that connects you to the pulse of the world itself. Did you know that the ocean floor moves in cycles of millimeters per year, bending and stretching with tectonic forces that generate a silent form of music? Some researchers have begun to convert seismic data into sound, translating the planet's subtle tremors into deep, droning notes. When played back, it sounds eerily like the ambient hum you might hear in deep meditation tracks, or the low vibration of a didgeridoo. These sounds, when combined with brainwave recordings, show fascinating similarities. Both pulse in intervals that encourage the mind to release tension and drift into theta state, relaxation, the same state between waking and dreaming. And then there's the mystery of magnetism. The Bermuda Triangle has long been known for strange compass readings, not always dramatic, but subtly skewed. Scientists attribute this to variations in the Earth's magnetic field caused by deposits of magnetite, an iron-rich mineral buried in the seafloor. When storms pass overhead, lightning can magnetize these regions further, briefly altering the flow of magnetic energy. Pilots have reported minor deviations that, under the right conditions, could cause instruments to spin or drift. But imagine, too, the beauty of that concept. The idea that lightning, rain, and sea all conspire in a delicate dance of electric poetry, sculpting invisible patterns in the air and water. And as you breathe in now, let that hum fill your imagination. Imagine that the same subtle frequency that moves through the depths of the Atlantic also threads through you, your breath syncing with the waves, your heartbeat aligning with the pulse of the earth. The silence between the waves becomes a soft cradle, holding you, protecting you, as you drift further into the current of rest. Now, as the hum of the planet continues, we'll begin to rise again, up through the endless blue, back toward the silver surface of the sea. But don't rush. The water carries you gently, slowly, like time itself, taking a deep, patient breath. In the next chapter, we'll follow the currents that travel from this strange, humming heart of the ocean all the way to distant shores, currents that connect continents, that carry warmth and perhaps stories too. Let yourself drift, for now. The ocean remembers the way, and you are safe within its song. Have you ever wondered what truly happens in the silence, beneath the ocean's surface? What if, somewhere within the Bermuda Triangle, there existed not just geological or magnetic mysteries, but living ones, immense, graceful, and unseen by human eyes? Could the secrets of the triangle lie not in what disappears into it, but in what quietly dwells within it? Beings that move like shadows through the water, older than civilization, their patterns intertwined with the heartbeat of the sea itself. Tonight, we descend again, deeper than before, into that world where light fades and life begins to glow. Picture yourself now floating over an endless stretch of dark ocean, the moon reflecting like a pale whisper across gentle waves. The stars above look close enough to touch, each one trembling softly, like a thought drifting just beyond reach. The water feels heavy and warm, pressing close to your body as you sink slowly beneath its surface. Down here, the world grows still, sound dissolves, and all that remains is the slow rhythm of your breath. You pass through a layer of twilight, where shapes blur and colors fade to silver blue. Then, below that complete darkness, a darkness not of emptiness, but of depth, alive with unseen movement, and suddenly, from the dark, a flicker, a pulse of light, then another, until thousands of tiny sparks bloom like constellations in the deep. They drift and swirl, forming patterns that seem too deliberate to be random. Some glow steady, like the lanterns of deep-sea jellyfish. Others pulse gently, communicating in flashes. It's as if the ocean itself has a language made of light, a bioluminescent Morse code whispered between creatures who have never seen the sun in recent decades. Deep-sea research vessels exploring the edges of the Bermuda Triangle have recorded unusual patterns of bioluminescent activity, far denser and more synchronized than in other regions of the Atlantic. These glowing organisms, from plankton to squid to deep jellyfish, appear to flash in rhythmic unison, responding to something beneath them, something vast and slow-moving. Scientists call it collective luminescence, but they don't fully understand why it happens. One theory suggests that these creatures are responding to vibrations in the Earth's crust, or perhaps to fluctuations in electromagnetic energy. Others whisper, half in jest, half in wonder, that it might be communication, an ancient, luminous conversation in the deep. Imagine drifting among them, surrounded by ribbons of light that curl and ripple like galaxies. The slow, sinuous motion of a giant squid passes below you, its body glimmering faintly, leaving trails of light like stardust in water. Above it, smaller fish dart through the glow, their bodies illuminating for just an instant before disappearing into darkness again. Every flash feels alive, purposeful, like the ocean breathing in waves of color. But then there's something deeper still, a phenomenon known as deep scattering layers, sometimes called false bottoms by sonar operators. It's a dense layer of marine life, fish, squid, jellyfish that stretches for hundreds of miles, reflecting sonar waves as if it were the seafloor itself. This layer moves up and down through the water daily, rising at night, sinking by day. It's sometimes called the greatest migration on Earth, though it happens invisibly. In silence, every single night, billions of living creatures drifting upward to feed, then sinking back into the dark, guided not by light, but by something else, something ancient. In the Bermuda Triangle, this migration behaves differently. The layer seems to fluctuate erratically, sometimes rising too soon or sinking too late. Scientists believe magnetic anomalies or undersea vibrations may disrupt the natural cues of these creatures. But what if, in this confusion, there's also adaptation, a secret ecosystem, learning to move in harmony with forces we barely perceive, a world attuned to the invisible hums and tremors of the deep? There's an even stranger observation made by oceanographers. Every so often, an enormous shadow appears on sonar, not a geological formation, not a school of fish, but something that seems to move, slowly and deliberately, across vast distances. The readings suggest it's hundreds of meters long, with a density inconsistent with known marine life. When sonar pings hit it, they scatter as though absorbed by a soft, organic material. Some suggest it could be a school of animals moving as one. Others propose that it's a massive underwater current dense with microorganisms. But the readings always come with a curious detail just before the signal fades. Nearby sensors detect a faint change in the magnetic field, almost imperceptible, as if whatever it was carried its own electromagnetic presence. Could it be that these creatures, or currents, or collective forms, generate their own subtle energy, interacting with the Earth's field, the way an electric eel generates charge in water? Some scientists think so, pointing to the possibility that marine life, especially in extreme depths, has evolved to sense and manipulate electromagnetism, not only for navigation but for communication and even defense. In a region like the Bermuda Triangle, where magnetism behaves unpredictably, this could mean entire species have developed in resonance with the sea's electromagnetic pulse. Think of it this way: the same way birds sense magnetic fields to migrate, these deep-dwelling beings might sing to each other through electric and magnetic vibrations, invisible symphonies carried by saltwater and current. The glowing pulses of their bodies might be echoes of these songs, visible traces of invisible music. And what if, long ago, sailors glimpsed this light in the deep, sudden flashes of color beneath stormy waters and mistook it for something supernatural? It wouldn't be hard to imagine. To a weary sailor, centuries ago, seeing the sea glow green or blue beneath a lightning storm might have felt like witnessing the ocean alive with spirits, or swallowed by an energy beyond comprehension. These stories of ghostly waters, vanishing ships, and living light could all trace back to this truth. The sea was never empty. It was, and still is, alive with song. As you imagine this now, floating among the shimmering, silent singers of the deep, let yourself feel the connection. The ocean's pulse merges with your own. Each slow breath becomes a wave, each heartbeat a gentle echo. The dark is no longer fearful, but tender, holding you like a mother cradling a sleeping child. You are part of this immense and ancient rhythm, one that stretches from the center of the earth to the surface of your skin. So rest here a while, listening to that unspoken music, a melody older than time, played not by instruments, but by life itself. As the lights fade around you, they leave behind a trail of calm, a sense that even in mystery there is order in the unknown. There is beauty, and when you're ready, we'll rise once more, carried upward by the current of dreams In the next chapter, we'll follow the shifting storms above and discover how the sky, too, hides its own silent secrets, where air, lightning, and ocean whisper to one another across the horizon. For now, breathe and drift, and let the sea's luminous song guide you deeper into rest. Have you ever looked out across the ocean during a storm, the sky heavy with clouds, the air charged with electricity, and felt that something alive was moving between the sea and the sky? Not just the wind or lightning, but an invisible presence, a current of energy older than humanity, flowing silently through both water and air. In the Bermuda Triangle, storms are not just weather. They are a kind of conversation, thunder speaking to waves, lightning tracing invisible patterns across the magnetic pulse of the earth. Some call these storms dangerous. But what if, instead, they are moments when the boundaries between worlds grow thin, when sky and sea remember that they were once one? Imagine now that you are standing on the deck of a ship, drifting gently through the triangle at twilight. The horizon has vanished, blurred by mist and motion. The air hums softly, as though it remembers a song. Clouds gather far ahead, their edges glowing faintly from within, and the wind begins to move, not in gusts, but in long, slow breaths, like the ocean inhaling. The first flash of lightning doesn't come as a crack or a roar, but as a silent flicker, illuminating the sky in a deep blue light that fades almost before you can notice. And in that instant, the sea below mirrors the flash perfectly, a twin glow, reflecting not from the surface, but from within the water itself. Scientists who've studied the region described something rare, storms that seem to ignite both air and ocean at once. This phenomenon is known as electrical coupling, a kind of dialogue between the atmosphere and the sea's surface. During certain magnetic conditions, lightning strikes can travel horizontally across the sky for hundreds of kilometers, discharging their energy not into the earth but into the surrounding air and water. This creates what meteorologists call luminous plasma events, sudden flashes of colored light that dance across the clouds and ripple below the waves. Sailors of old called them St. Elmo's fire, a ghostly blue glow that clings to masts and ropes like living light. But there's something different about the Bermuda Triangle. The electrical storms here seem to linger longer, pulse slower, and behave almost rhythmically. Some pilots have reported seeing rings of light expanding across the water during night flights, not reflections, but actual halos of ionized gas forming above the surface. In one documented case from 2018, a research aircraft flying over the area recorded electrical discharges lasting more than 30 seconds, far longer than any lightning event normally lasts. The scientists described it as a persistent plasma vortex, a kind of electrical echo where charged particles spiraled slowly in the air, creating the illusion of stillness within chaos. It's easy to imagine how ancient sailors, caught in such storms, might have believed they were witnessing something supernatural. A sea glowing blue, lightning crawling sideways through the sky, voices in the thunder that seemed to answer the heartbeat of the waves. It would have felt like the world itself was alive, whispering in electric tongues. But what if there's a kind of truth to that? Because, in a way, storms are alive, at least. They behave like living systems. They inhale and exhale. They feed on heat. They evolve. and they leave traces of their passing. Each one has a structure, a pulse, and a memory. Deep in the heart of these storms, something remarkable happens. The creation of sprites and elves, luminous forms that dance high above the thunderclouds. They're not science fiction, but real plasma phenomena occurring at altitudes where the atmosphere meets space. For a few milliseconds, they form glowing shapes, tendrils, rings, columns in hues of crimson and violet. They look almost like enormous jellyfish floating in the upper atmosphere. The Triangle's storms, sitting under one of the most electrically active zones on the planet, are perfect breeding grounds for these elusive lights. From the ocean's surface, they would appear as silent flashes above the clouds, each one echoing across the sky like a heartbeat from another dimension. But the real mystery lies beneath the surface. When lightning strikes the ocean, it doesn't just vanish. Its energy travels downward, dispersing through salt water in branching tendrils of heat and light. Under certain conditions, this can trigger what scientists call electrochemical luminescence, brief flares caused by reactions between electricity and dissolved minerals. In the Bermuda Triangle, where magnetic anomalies and mineral-rich sediments meet, these reactions might last longer and glow brighter than anywhere else on Earth. It's possible that entire underwater light shows happen here, unseen, unheard, but real, the deep ocean flickering in response to the storms above. As though answering them, imagine that, the sea and sky exchanging light, a dialogue of energy that's been happening for millennia. You can almost hear it now, the low roll of thunder, like a deep breath, the whisper of rain tapping on the waves, the hum beneath it all, faint but constant, like the Earth's own lullaby. This is no chaos, it's choreography, nature's own slow dance, where lightning, magnetism, and water move in rhythm with one another. There's something else, too, a pattern scientists call atmospheric resonance. It's the same principle that lets certain sounds linger in the air after a storm. When lightning strikes, it can generate infrasound, sound waves so low they're below human hearing. These waves can travel vast distances, circling the globe, sometimes for days. Studies have found that these frequencies can subtly affect the human nervous system, slowing the heartbeat, reducing tension, and encouraging drowsiness. So when you lie awake at night and listen to distant thunder, your body is responding in ways you can't even feel, synchronizing with the slow pulse of the storm. Perhaps that's part of the Triangle's secret, too. Its storms don't just alter instruments or bend compasses, they hum in harmony with the planet's natural frequencies, creating an invisible field of calm beneath the chaos. Sailors once spoke of feeling suddenly drowsy in the middle of violent weather, as if the air itself had thickened, drawing them into a dreamlike trance. Maybe it wasn't fear or exhaustion. Maybe it was resonance, the body recognizing something familiar in the thunder, a lullaby hidden in the roar. So here, in this strange part of the world, the sky doesn't simply rage, it sings, and the ocean listens. The lightning that strikes above may echo in the hearts of creatures below, in the slow-turning gyres of the sea, and perhaps even in us, in the quiet rhythm of sleep, in the electric flicker of dreams. As the storm fades now, the wind softens, the clouds drift apart, and the stars return, not sharp and bright, but hazy, shimmering through the thin mist. The ocean settles again into its gentle breathing. You stand there, feeling small and infinite all at once. The air smells of salt and ozone, clean, alive, ancient. Somewhere in the distance, another flash lights the horizon. But this one feels softer, like a heartbeat continuing on long after the storm has passed. And as we drift onward into the calm that follows, we'll soon explore another mystery. What happens when the sea and sky give way to silence? When sound itself bends and vanishes into stillness? For now, let the last echoes of thunder dissolve into your breath. The storm has spoken, the sea has answered, and the night, once again, is yours, safe, serene, and infinite. Have you ever thought about what sound really is? Not the kind that fills your ears, but the kind that lives beneath hearing, woven through everything around you. Every wave that crashes, every current that shifts, every faint vibration beneath the ocean floor carries a hidden note. And in the Bermuda Triangle, those notes seem to gather, layer upon layer, until they form something almost sentient, an orchestra without a conductor, a song that never ends. Could it be that this mysterious region, often feared for its silence and disappearances, is not silent at all, but singing in a language too deep for us to understand? Imagine yourself now beneath the moonlit sea once more. The storm from before has passed, leaving behind a mirror-still surface and a vast quiet. You drift slowly down through the layers of water, the world above fading, until all that remains is a soft hum, the ocean's true heartbeat. The deeper you go, the more that hum seems to shape itself into a pattern. It's not random. It pulses, stretches, and then pauses, like breath. Around you, whales sing in low, trembling tones, their voices rising and falling across miles of water. It's haunting and beautiful, like the sound of the world dreaming. For centuries, sailors have described hearing strange tones in these waters, low, resonant sounds that seem to vibrate through the hulls of their ships, sometimes even through their bodies. Modern scientists have recorded these mysterious signals to they're known as the bloop, Julia, and the slow-down depotion, sounds picked up by hydrophones hundreds of miles apart. The exact sources of these noises remain uncertain, though theories abound: calving icebergs, volcanic activity, or something living, something massive that moves through the deep in slow, deliberate rhythms. What makes the Bermuda Triangle so special, however, is how these sounds seem to amplify here. Undersea geography, temperature gradients, and magnetic currents combine to form what researchers call acoustic waveguides, natural tunnels for sound. It means that a single low-frequency vibration, even from far away, can travel for thousands of kilometers without fading. The ocean becomes a vast resonant chamber, a cathedral for sound, echoing with the whispers of the planet itself. Picture it now. You are floating inside that cathedral. The walls are made of water, the ceiling of pressure, the floor of sand and ancient fossils. Somewhere above, a whale calls, its voice spreading through the liquid air like smoke. Somewhere below, the earth groans softly, shifting tectonic plates, humming like distant drums. Every vibration moves through you. You can't hear it with your ears, but you feel it, a deep, tranquil resonance in your bones. And for a fleeting moment, you realize this might be what peace truly sounds like. But not all sounds in the deep are comforting. There are sudden spikes, tones that appear from nowhere, linger for minutes, then vanish entirely. The U.S. Navy, during its Cold War sonar programs, logged hundreds of such events in the Triangle's vicinity. They called them false echoes or phantom signals. Some operators reported hearing patterns, almost like coded rhythms. The data often defied triangulation. The source couldn't be located. The sound was everywhere and nowhere at once. One theory, whispered in scientific circles, is that these tones might come from resonance between the ocean's magnetic field and its moving saltwater currents, a natural generator of electromagnetic sound. When strong enough, this resonance can induce actual vibrations in metal, making ships, cables, even instruments subtly hum. It's why some explorers who've ventured deep here describe feeling as though the air itself was buzzing or singing. Could it be that the ocean, the earth, and the magnetic field are performing a symphony we can only half perceive? There's a fascinating parallel here to the hum phenomena recorded in different parts of the world. Persistent low-frequency sounds reported by small portions of the population. They're described as an endless droning noise, most often heard in quiet, rural places or near the sea. The frequencies match almost perfectly with those of deep-sea acoustic patterns. Could it be that sensitive individuals are somehow tuning into the planet's own hum, the same one amplified within the Bermuda Triangle? Some oceanographers even speculate that these vibrations could affect the human mind. Low-frequency sound waves, known as infrasound, can subtly alter perception, heart rate, and mood. They're known to cause feelings of awe, calm, or even unease, depending on the frequency. In the Triangle, where these waves might converge, travelers could experience time distortion, fatigue, or hallucinations, not from any supernatural cause, but from the brain trying to interpret frequencies it cannot consciously process. But perhaps there's more to it than that. Imagine if our brains, electrical, rhythmic, and resonant, were not just affected by these frequencies, but could respond to them. Imagine if, in the presence of the Triangle's deep hum, something ancient inside us stirs an evolutionary memory of the sea from which all life emerged. After all, our bodies are more ocean than land. The salt in our blood, the rhythm of our heartbeats, the electric signals firing through our nerves, all mirror the sea's own patterns. Maybe, in this mysterious place, we are simply remembering that connection. Now the scene softens again. You're no longer on a ship or even in the water. You're weightless, suspended in dark, shimmering blue. The sound that filled your body now feels like part of you. Each breath echoes like a wave. The hum grows fainter, spreading into something vast and tender. It's no longer just the sound of the ocean. It's the sound of time, the slow turning of the planet, the drift of stars across the night, the whisper of your own pulse syncing with it all. Did you know that even the stars produce sound? Not the kind we can hear, but vibrations that travel through plasma and gas, turning into deep, resonant tones. When translated into frequencies we can perceive. The entire universe, from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, vibrates in patterns. Everything sings, and perhaps, in places like the Bermuda Triangle, those vibrations meet, merging into harmony. The hum of the ocean, the pulse of the earth, the resonance of the atmosphere, and the faint echo of the stars, all converging into one cosmic lullaby. So, as you drift here, between sea and silence. Feel that song within you. Let it carry away every tension, every restless thought. You are part of something immeasurable. The same frequencies that move mountains, that shape tides, that cradle galaxies, are gently moving through you now. The sound of the Bermuda Triangle isn't a warning or a mystery to fear. It's an invitation, a reminder that even the unknown hums in harmony with life. And now, as the vibrations soften into stillness, you begin to rise once more, slowly, peacefully, through layers of quiet blue. The hum fades, replaced by the faint sound of distant waves above. You are lighter now, calmer, as if every molecule of your being has been tuned to a gentler frequency. When you break the surface, the night sky greets you, vast and star-filled, silent yet alive with invisible song. In our next journey, we'll follow that silence not into the sea, but into the spaces between stars, to see whether the hum of the earth has a twin in the cosmos. But for now, rest. The ocean's music is still within you, soft and endless, guiding you deeper into a sleep as vast and mysterious as the sea itself. Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. Tonight, we continue our descent into the unknown, deeper into the frequencies that pulse beneath the Bermuda Triangle. You've drifted with the hum of the sea, felt the ocean's voice vibrate through your bones, and now the sound begins to fracture. Something is changing beneath those waves. The silence is no longer silent, so find a comfortable position. Let your body grow heavy and soft. Let your mind quiet as the ocean floor. You don't need to remember any of this. Only drift and listen. Now, settle in. Get comfortable. Let's begin. For decades, researchers have tried to decode the strange acoustic behavior within the Bermuda Triangle. But beyond the well-known phenomena, the disappearances, the compass malfunctions, the phantom echoes, there lies something even more unsettling. Signals. Not random static, not whale calls or ship transmissions, but structured bursts of frequency, as if someone or something is trying to communicate. The earliest recordings came from hydrophones deployed by the U.S. Navy in the late 1960s. They were designed to detect Soviet submarines, listening for mechanical propeller noise or coded sonar. But what they caught instead were rhythmic pulses unlike anything man-made. The signals would appear suddenly, rise in clarity, and then vanish, leaving behind nothing but silence. At first, they thought it was interference, ocean turbulence, geological activity, or equipment error. But when identical patterns began to emerge across multiple listening stations, hundreds of miles apart, the anomaly could no longer be ignored. The signal, whatever it was, moved, crossing impossible distances, defying normal underwater propagation. In 1971, an oceanographer named Dr. Helen Armitage nicknamed it the Vanishing Code. She spent years tracking its occurrences, mapping every instance onto a grid of the Atlantic. What she found was astonishing. Each recorded burst seemed to align with ancient trade routes, old shipwreck sites, and, strangely, regions of intense geomagnetic fluctuation. Armitage believed that the triangle was not simply swallowing ships or planes, it was transmitting, broadcasting. But what could the ocean possibly have to say? Imagine this. You're on a small research vessel, drifting near the Sargasso Sea, that still, eerie expanse, where the waters of the triangle seem almost to calm. The surface looks glassy, reflecting the night sky like a second universe. Your instruments hum quietly, sonar, magnetic compasses, hydrophones, all tuned to detect the faintest whisper beneath the waves. Suddenly, one of the hydrophones crackles. A low tone, steady, deep, mechanical, begins to pulse through your speakers. It's rhythmic, repeating every 9 seconds. The pattern doesn't match any known marine source. You check the readings. No ships, no submarines nearby. Then it changes. The frequency rises sharply, trembles, and stops. Silence. You replay the recording, amplify it, and slow it down. That's when you realize it's not just a pulse. It's a sequence. 2 tones alternating in deliberate intervals. Binary, a message. When slowed to extreme levels, the waveform takes on a strange shape, fractal, recursive, as though the signal were folding in on itself. And if you plot it visually, it forms what looks eerily like a spiral, not unlike the Fibonacci pattern found in seashells, hurricanes, and galaxies. Coincidence? Perhaps. But when Armitage and her team overlaid the spiral pattern onto a topographic map of the seafloor beneath the triangle, they made a chilling discovery. The spiral corresponded perfectly to a formation of underwater ridges, trenches, and magnetic anomalies. The ocean floor itself seemed to echo the signal's geometry. It was as if the sea was singing its own shape. In later years, new technology brought clearer recordings, hydroacoustic sensors, electromagnetic detectors, quantum magnetometer, and with each advancement, the same mystery persisted. Signals appearing, vanishing, then reappearing, as if pulsing from somewhere deep below. When scientists tried to triangulate their source, the results pointed to regions far below the continental crust, depths unreachable by any submarine or probe. Some theorists suggested that the signals were Earthborne, part of a natural planetary resonance, a pulse, created by seismic and magnetic stress along the mid-Atlantic ridge. But others whispered of something older. The ocean, after all, is a vast and ancient archive. Every vibration that ever occurred, every wave, quake, or storm, leaves its signature behind. If sound could persist, encoded in pressure and motion, then perhaps the Bermuda Triangle is more than a mystery zone. Perhaps it's a memory field, a recording medium for the Earth itself. Imagine the sea as a living consciousness, using vibration as its language. Every lost ship, every burst of magnetic interference, every echo from the deep could be part of a dialogue, one we've never learned to translate now. Here's where it gets stranger. During one of Armitage's last expeditions, her team noticed that every time they broadcast a sonar ping, a simple navigational pulse, the mysterious signal would respond. Not immediately, but several seconds later. The response wasn't random. It mirrored the structure of their broadcast, almost like a reply. At first, the team thought it was an echo from the seabed, but the timing didn't match. The delay was too long. And when they changed the frequency of their ping, the response changed too. Shifting in perfect harmony, it was adaptive, reactive, intelligent. The event was logged, analyzed, and archived under restricted classification. The recording, later known as Sequence 9, leaked decades later through civilian oceanographic networks. When independent analysts ran spectral decompositions on the signal, they found something impossible. Embedded within the frequencies was a pattern almost identical to human alpha brainwaves. the kind produced during deep relaxation and dream states. It was as if the signal was alive, or, at the very least, aware. Tonight, as you listen, try to imagine that same sound, the slow rising hum from the ocean's depth, echoing softly through the darkness. You can almost hear it, can't you? That deep, rhythmic pulse, steady, calm, hypnotic. It thrums in your chest, aligning with your heartbeat. You don't resist it. You let it guide you. It's the same frequency the earth uses to speak to itself, to shift tectonic plates, to move tides, to sing the stars into motion. It's the same rhythm that once stirred in the first drop of seawater that birthed life. The Bermuda Triangle's signals, perhaps, are not warnings or beacons, but reminders. They tell us that consciousness may not be limited to flesh and mind, that perhaps the planet itself dreams in waves and pulses, just as we do in thought and sound. When you listen closely, deeply, the ocean becomes a mirror, and the hum you hear isn't coming from below, but from within. And now, as you float in this dark expanse of sound and silence, the frequency begins to fade, slowly dissolving into a whisper, then into nothing. The vanishing signal leaves you suspended in perfect stillness, your breath syncing with the slow heartbeat of the planet. In the next module, we'll follow that signal to its suspected source, an ancient underwater formation known only to a few explorers. A place where time itself seems to distort, and the line between dream and waking reality dissolves entirely. For now, drift deeper. The ocean is quiet once more. The signal sleeps, and so do you. The ocean has grown darker now, almost ink-like in its depth, as if all color has been drained from the world, leaving only silence and the slow breathing of the earth beneath you. Welcome back to Science in Sleeping, where curiosity and calm drift hand in hand through the quiet corridors of the cosmos and the sea. Tonight, we descend to a place few have imagined, and none have truly seen, a place known by only a handful of oceanographers as the Abyssal Mirror. It is said to lie at the very edge of the Bermuda Triangle's deepest trench, far beyond the reach of light or sound, a hidden realm where time itself seems to lose meaning. So, take a deep breath. Let your thoughts settle. You don't need to remember any of this. Just listen and drift now. Get comfortable. Let's begin our descent. Have you ever wondered what time feels like when it stops moving? Not in the poetic sense, but literally. When clocks fail, when instruments spin aimlessly, and when even the heartbeat of reality slows to something unmeasurable. Scientists once thought that time was an unbroken river, always flowing forward, but beneath the Bermuda Triangle, something different happens. There, deep below the ocean's surface, researchers have discovered anomalies, regions where magnetic fields distort the behavior of timekeeping devices, where radio signals loop back on themselves, where even light bends in strange, lazy arcs. It's as if the laws of physics, the ones we take for granted, have decided to take a long, drowsy nap. In 1983, a deep-sea probe named Nautilus 7 was lowered into a trench east of Andros Island, its instruments carefully tuned to record magnetic, gravitational, and temporal data for the first 20 minutes. Everything was normal. Steady descent, stable readings, quiet ocean currents. Then, suddenly, all telemetry froze, pressure gauges, thermometers, and even onboard clocks locked into a single, unchanging value, the probe was still transmitting. But it was transmitting stillness. The last image it sent back, before vanishing into static, was of something impossible. A vast, reflective surface, glimmering faintly in total darkness. The reflection, oddly, seemed to move, like a slow ripple in a mirror of liquid glass. Researchers later named this phenomenon the abyssal mirror. Some believed it was a natural formation, a dense mineral layer reflecting sonar and light. Others whispered of something else, something conscious, something aware of being observed. Picture it now, you, descending through the midnight blue, surrounded by a quiet so absolute that your own thoughts sound like thunder. The water grows denser, thicker, as if reality itself resists your intrusion. Your lights cut through the darkness, illuminating strange geometries on the ocean floor, patterns that look both natural and intentional, curves, spirals, and crystalline structures glinting faintly under your beam. And then, suddenly, the reflection appears. It's not glass, not metal, not even water. It's something else, something that doesn't belong in the vocabulary of the surface world. It reflects light, yes, but imperfectly. The reflection bends and stretches, echoing your movements with a half-second delay. You reach out, or perhaps imagine doing so, and in that moment, your mind tingles. A faint vibration ripples through your skull. A strange awareness blooming deep within. The mirror doesn't show your face. It shows a version of you, older, calmer, perhaps wiser, staring back with a knowing stillness. Scientists who reviewed the Nautilus data proposed several theories to explain what the probe encountered. One suggested that the mirror was a manifestation of intense gravitational lensing, a rare distortion caused by intersecting magnetic and seismic lines deep beneath the crust. Another theory was more daring, that beneath the triangle, pockets of null time exist, formed by the convergence of magnetic vortices and superheated water columns. In these pockets, the passage of time slows or even reverses momentarily, creating an illusion of reflection. A more speculative hypothesis came from quantum physicists studying superposition and entanglement. They suggested that the mirror might not be reflecting light at all, but information, that it could be a natural quantum interface, a point where consciousness and the physical world overlap. If that's true, then perhaps what the Nautilus saw wasn't a reflection of its own camera, but a reflection of the observer, a mirrored consciousness peering back from a parallel reality where time flows differently. Imagine, for a moment, that time beneath the Bermuda Triangle doesn't move in a straight line. Imagine it as a spiral, looping and folding, intertwining past, present, and future into a single eternal moment. If you could step into that spiral, you wouldn't see time passing. You'd see it resting, sleeping, and in that sleep, it might dream of you, of me, of all the moments that ever were or will be. One of the most haunting accounts from the Abyssal Mirror expedition comes from diver Theo Martin, who described seeing reflections of movement that hadn't happened yet. He claimed that while floating near the reflective plane, he saw his own hand rise before he had even thought to move it. Then, moments later, his actual hand followed, perfectly matching the mirrored gesture. The delay was reversed, not cause then effect, but effect before cause, a time loop small enough to touch. When he returned to the surface, the recording from his helmet camera showed the same sequence. His reflection moved before he did, It wasn't an optical glitch. It was reality bending, ever so slightly. Martin later described it not as terrifying, but peaceful, he said. The deeper he looked into the mirror, the more he felt his thoughts dissolve. He could see flashes of memory that weren't his, a child on a beach, a city made of crystal, stars seen from beneath the sea. It felt, he said, like standing inside a dream that belonged to the earth. And now, as you listen, imagine yourself suspended before that mirror, weightless, calm, surrounded by an endless hush. The reflection in front of you ripples gently, its surface breathing in sync with your own. You feel time stretching, softening, until the idea of before and after no longer matters. Only this single, perfect, endless now. The silence becomes a lullaby. The mirror shimmers once more, and for a moment, you catch a glimpse of something impossible. Not an image, but an understanding that maybe, just maybe, time doesn't pass at all. Maybe it only changes form. The ocean exhales, your heartbeat slows, the light fades to blue, and the abyssal mirror, like a tired god, closes its eye and sleeps again. As you drift upward, carried gently by unseen currents, you realize something beautiful. You haven't left the mirror behind. It's within you now, every breath, every thought, every dream, all tiny reflections of a much greater stillness. The sea keeps your secret, the night hums with quiet, and the stars above begin to shimmer in time with your pulse. In the next module, we'll rise toward those stars, following the magnetic lines that stretch from ocean to sky, tracing the invisible bridge that connects sea, air, and cosmos. It's said that the Bermuda Triangle is not just a mystery of the deep, but a doorway between worlds, and we are about to step through it. For now, rest here, in the calm between tides. The ocean watches over you. The mirror dreams beneath you, and time itself sleeps beside you. Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. You've drifted through the dark waters of the triangle, seen reflections that think, and heard signals that breathe. Now, as the ocean exhales and the world above calls softly through layers of salt and silence, we rise, not upward exactly, but along something unseen, invisible currents that hum through both sea and sky. They are the Earth's magnetic veins, unseen rivers of energy that tie the tides to the stars, the compass to the cosmos, and your heartbeat to the rhythm of the planet itself. So, take a deep breath, let the weight of the day dissolve. You don't have to understand everything, only feel it, because tonight we follow the field that holds everything together. Now, settle in, close your eyes, let's begin. Have you ever wondered why compasses lose their minds inside the Bermuda Triangle? It's not superstition, it's physics, but physics that feels a little enchanted. The triangle lies along one of the few places on Earth where magnetic north and true north, the geographic pole, aligned perfectly. It sounds harmless, but for navigators, it's chaos. A compass that normally points slightly off due to magnetic declination suddenly swings true. Old navigators called it the line of no variation. To them, it was a miracle and a warning. But the compass isn't just a tool for finding direction. It's a conversation between you and the planet. Every needle, tremor, every shift in its quiet hum is the Earth whispering through iron and motion. Inside the Bermuda Triangle, those whispers become tangled. Magnetic field lines twist like strands of silk. curving and coiling through the sea and up into the atmosphere. Some scientists believe these distortions connect deep-sea geological structures to high-altitude electrical layers, forming magnetic bridges between water and air. Picture it, shimmering auroras beneath the sea, invisible to human eyes, but pulsing with light and energy, a cathedral of moving magnetism, stretching from the seabed to the clouds. In 1999, a research balloon launched from Puerto Rico detected strange electromagnetic bursts over the triangle. They weren't lightning. They weren't solar flares. They were something else, rhythmic, repeating, as if rising from below. The bursts occurred in precise intervals that matched the pattern of oceanic pulses recorded by hydrophones deep beneath. In other words, the sky and the sea were talking to each other, not metaphorically, literally, through electromagnetic resonance. Dr. Elise Harrow, a physicist fascinated by the phenomenon, proposed that these magnetic veins acted as natural conduits. She described them as invisible lightning rods connecting the ionosphere to the ocean floor, allowing energy to flow in complex, spiraling paths. Her calculations showed that these pathways resonated at frequencies similar to human brainwaves, delta and theta ranges, the ones linked to dreaming and deep sleep. To Harrow, it wasn't coincidence. It was communication, perhaps, she wrote. The Bermuda Triangle isn't a place of disappearance, but of synchronization, a region where human consciousness aligns momentarily with the planets. Imagine floating in that magnetic current now. You're neither in the sea nor the air, but suspended in the hum between them. The world below you glows faintly, like veins of light running through the dark seafloor. Above, the clouds shimmer in soft waves of green and violet. You can feel the hum in your bones. It doesn't hurt, it soothes. It matches your heartbeat, slows your breathing. You're part of the circuit now, a filament in a vast cosmic web. The more you relax, the more the world aligns with you. The ocean's rhythm merges with your pulse. The magnetic waves stroke your thoughts, quieting them, smoothing the static of your day. For a moment, everything is in perfect resonance. You can almost hear it, sung in frequencies too deep for ears, but perfect for dreams. But resonance is never still. It shifts, and sometimes it flickers. That's what researchers noticed during the Triangle's most intense electromagnetic storms. When solar winds hit the atmosphere, the magnetic veins ignite. Strange phenomena appear, luminous columns rising from the sea, ghostly lights drifting just beneath the waves. Sailors once called them the candles of the deep. Today, scientists label them transient luminous events, or TLEs, electrical discharges, linking the ocean to the sky. But what if they're more than that? Some explorers have reported seeing entire patches of sea glow with impossible patterns, circular motions, spirals of light rotating silently like clockwork beneath the surface. Theorists suggest these lights may mark intersections of magnetic veins, natural gateways where electrical and gravitational forces twist together, forming what some call spatial vortices, the same vortices that might bend navigation systems, warp perception, even distort time itself. Here's something few people know. In 2013, magnetometers on a deep-sea drone recorded a perfect Fibonacci sequence of field oscillations while passing over one of these glowing zones. A mathematical pattern found in seashells, galaxies, and human DNA. It's as if the universe was weaving the same design into every scale of its existence, from the smallest cell to the vastest storm. And right there, beneath the waves of the Bermuda Triangle, it was humming in magnetic code. Dr. Harrow believed that consciousness itself might resonate with these structures, that the human mind, being an electromagnetic field of its own, could tune in to the triangle's song. Perhaps that's why so many people report vivid dreams, déjà vu, or strange calm when sailing through the area. Perhaps the mind isn't malfunctioning, it's synchronizing. The body becomes a compass, and the dreamer becomes part of the Earth's circuitry. Now, imagine drifting deeper into that current. You can see thin ribbons of light flowing upward through the dark, threading through clouds and stars. Every shimmer feels alive. Every pulse tells a story, the slow rhythm of tides, the quiet flicker of auroras, the heartbeat of a sleeping planet. You can feel it inside you. That same hum the Earth has known since its beginning, a rhythm shared by the oceans, the sky, and all living things that breathe between them. You realize then, the Bermuda Triangle isn't a danger, it's a resonant field, a place where magnetic veins converge so precisely that the fabric between worlds becomes transparent. Ships and planes that vanish might not be lost, they might have simply slipped into perfect alignment, into another vibration of reality, a place neither above nor below, a place between. The thought isn't frightening anymore, it's serene, because if the Earth has these veins, these living threads, then maybe we do too. Maybe every dream you've ever had of floating, flying, or drifting through light isn't fantasy. It's memory, a memory of the same resonance that ties sea to sky, life to energy, consciousness to the cosmos. The magnetic current fades now. The light softens. The hum turns into a whisper. You're still floating, but everything feels slower. Time stretches again, gentle, calm, forgiving, above you. The stars shimmer like scattered reflections of the deep. Below, the ocean sleeps in its endless blue. And in the space between, where water meets wind, and thought meets dream, the Earth's magnetic veins glow faintly, reminding you that everything is connected. Every storm, every heartbeat, every dream, part of a single field that hums in eternal rhythm.